Believe it or not, silence from a woman isn't just empty space, it's communication. You've probably been there. You send her a message, she reads it, or maybe doesn't even open it. Hours turn into days. And your brain? It runs circles. Did I mess up? Was I too much? Has she lost interest? That uncertainty doesn't just sit quietly, it eats at you every time you glance at your phone. I get it. The not knowing is brutal. But here's the twist. Her silence often carries more meaning than her words ever could. Every unanswered text, every pause, every gap in conversation, it reveals something. About her. About you. And about the dynamic between you. In this video, we're not settling for cliché advice like, play it cool, or just wait it out. We're digging deeper. We'll break down what silence really means, psychologically, emotionally, even through the lens of Stoic philosophy. And more importantly, we'll uncover how you should respond, not react. Because once you understand the truth about silence, you stop chasing noise, and you start standing in your own power. 1. Silence isn't always negative. Most men hear silence and immediately assume rejection. No text? No interest. Right. Not necessarily. More often than not, her silence has nothing to do with you, and everything to do with what she's carrying. Maybe she's overwhelmed. Maybe she's processing emotions. Maybe she's taking space the way she naturally needs to. Women often communicate in waves, not in constant rhythms. Quiet doesn't always mean disinterest. It can mean she's stressed, uncertain, or even afraid of moving too fast. The problem is our interpretation. Men tend to see communication as transactional, while women often see it as relational. So when she pulls back, it may simply mean she lacks the emotional energy in that moment. But men interpret that gap as rejection, and anxiety takes over. That anxiety then fuels chasing, over-texting, and self-sabotage. So slow down. Her silence doesn't always mean something's broken. Sometimes it just means she's human. And sometimes the real lesson isn't about decoding her, it's about understanding your own instinct to panic when things aren't instantly clear. 2. The Stoic response to uncertainty. Here's where Stoicism flips the script. Most guys spiral when she doesn't reply, checking their phone, replaying conversations, desperate for answers. But Stoicism reminds us, you cannot control her silence. You can only control your response. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That silence? It's neutral until you attach meaning to it. You can panic, or you can pause. You can chase, or you can breathe. The Stoic man doesn't treat silence as a wound, he treats it as a mirror. Instead of asking, "Why isn't she texting me?" he asks, "How am I handling uncertainty?" That's strength. Not indifference, but presence. Not ignoring emotions, but mastering them. And when you do that, you stop being a man who needs validation, and start becoming a man who carries calm regardless of who stays or who leaves. That isn't just attractive. That's powerful. 3. Silence can be a test. Here's a truth few men realize: sometimes, her silence is a test. Not a manipulative game, but an instinctive way of gauging your emotional strength. By pulling back, even unconsciously, she's asking, "Can you handle this?" She's watching to see if you lose your composure, if you collapse into neediness, if you crumble when attention isn't constant. That reaction tells her everything, not just about the situation, but about you. Women are wired to seek emotional security. And the way you handle silence signals whether you offer it. If you spiral, you show instability. If you remain calm, grounded, self-assured, you show strength. Not muscles. Not money. But composure. That's what creates safety. And in relationships, safety is magnetic. 4. If you chase, you lose. Here's the harsh irony. The moment you start chasing her silence, you make it worse. Double texting, over-apologizing, forcing conversation, these moves don't pull her closer, they push her further away. Why? Because you've shifted the energy. From being a man who commands respect, to a man who begs for reassurance. Psychologically, this is called reactance. When people feel their space is being invaded, they pull back harder. By chasing, you don't close the gap, you widen it. You also hand her the emotional authority. She's now the one in control, while you wait for scraps of attention. That dynamic drains attraction faster than anything. True power is found in restraint. Not punishing her with silence, but allowing her to feel your absence, and in that absence, to choose. 5. What to do instead. So, what should you do when she goes quiet? You focus on the only thing you've ever had control over, yourself. Not by waiting around, but by moving forward. Instead of refreshing her Instagram story or overanalyzing when she was last online, redirect that energy inward. Journal. Train. Build. Learn. Grow. Fill your life so fully that a delayed text can't shake you. This isn't about distraction, it's about transformation. The more you invest in your own mission, the less you'll need constant validation. And ironically, that self-sufficiency is exactly what makes you magnetic. Women don't crave men who wait, they crave men who move. 6. If she returns, you're still in control. Eventually, silence often breaks. She texts. Maybe casually. Maybe playfully. Maybe as if nothing happened. Most guys either jump back in with relief, or lash out with resentment. Both responses hand over your power. But if you've been using the silence to center yourself, you're no longer desperate for her message. You choose how to respond. Calmly. Maturely. With boundaries. A simple, steady reply like, "Good to hear from you. I've been busy working on some new things." Does the job. No bitterness. No neediness. Just presence. And that presence communicates the most powerful truth of all: you don't need her to feel whole anymore. That's rare. That's attractive. That's respect. So next time she goes silent, don't spiral. Don't chase. Don't beg for clarity. Instead, let the silence be what it truly is, a mirror. A moment to ask, am I a man who waits for validation, or a man who stands steady without it? Her silence doesn't define you. Your response does. And the more you ground yourself in presence, focus, and growth, the more magnetic you become, not because you're trying, but because you've outgrown the need to try. Let her wonder. Let her feel your absence. Not as punishment, but as proof that your worth doesn't hinge on anyone's attention. Stay focused. Stay grounded. Stay stoic. And if this resonated, you already know the next step: keep growing.